Hi guys, in this episode of Flammy's Thoughts On, as you can see by the title of this video, I'm gonna be delving into the teaser for the 60th anniversary of Doctor Who and a bunch of other things that are also related to the future of Doctor Who as a whole. And this is actually the second time I've tried to record this video because the first time I forgot a couple of things that I wanted to talk about, and then a bunch of other news were released about the future of the show that I also wanted to talk about. So yeah, hopefully this time I'm going to be able to kind of cover everything, because there's actually quite a few things that I want to say about this. And if you're wondering, yes, there will eventually be a video that I will release that is going to be me covering Power of the Doctor. I am going to be reviewing that episode. It's just that due to the nature of the schedule that I do on the channel, with which videos get released when, it's going to be a while until that video is gonna go up according to the schedule, and this one is a more of a special one, so it can be released earlier. So stick around for the review of Power of the Doctor, which is gonna be a while until it's released, but it will come. But the topic of this video, I feel like, is separate enough from that episode that it kind of warrants its own thing, you know? Because, yeah, it is a little connected, but outside of the regeneration scene, I'm not gonna bring up anything from Power of the Doctor, so yeah. You should also check out my previous video where I talked about the first time when we learned that Tenant is gonna be coming back and when RTD was gonna be coming back. Because my feeling right now, after actually witnessing the regeneration of Jodie into Tenant, I still kind of can't believe it. It just still feels like a fucking fever dream. And it doesn't really help that that whole sequence where Jodie regenerates is shot like a fever dream, especially once Tenant shows up. Like, the coloring and everything is so hazy. I kind of dig it, but at the same time, it does feel like a fucking fever dream. And yeah, I still kind of can't believe that this is actually happening. And honestly, I'm kind of in two minds about Tenant showing up as a new regeneration. Well, although we are obviously gonna see whether he is truly a new regeneration or not. Now he is being referred to as the 14th Doctor, so that kind of lets credence to the likelihood of him actually being a new incarnation and not just like a special one due to like shenanigans by the villain of the 60th anniversary or whatever. Yeah, I'm in two minds about this change because, one, I do like seeing Tenant back again, don't get me wrong, and I do kind of like his new alternative outfit a little bit more than the original. Like, don't get me wrong, the original is awesome and iconic, but this one, I feel like, particularly to me, it kinda appeals more because of the coat being blue instead of brown. Like, the old one is aesthetically pleasing and awesome as well, but this one just looks so nice to my eyes, you know? But at the same time, I kind of don't like that, for actually kind of a two-reason thing there, because one, I don't like that it sets a precedent that any older actor that has played the Doctor can come back for a new regeneration if there's a story that calls for it. Like, we already get the older actors by the nature of crossover episodes where we have the current Doctors team up with the previous ones. We don't need another reason to bring old actors back. It's not that it necessarily won't be cool, especially if you actually go out of your way to create a completely different incarnation with that actor. But I don't know, I just don't like that to set that precedent. There's already way too much complaining about people's favorite Doctors going away and them stopping to watching. So to kind of add more weight to that, I just don't like that. I don't think people should be eager like that, you know? Especially with goddamn Tenant, who is like the most popular Doctor, or the most beloved Doctor of the modern era of Doctor Who. If it was anybody who got a second chance as the Doctor, it should have been fucking Eccleston, you know? Don't you think? Because everybody else got at least 3 seasons. But he got only 1, so if anybody from the modern era deserves a second chance, it should have been Eccleston, not the guy who was the most popular and I'm pretty sure got the most episodes in the modern era. Like, he's not the one that needs more episodes of Doctor Who focused on him, you know? And yeah, it could be fun, probably will be fun, to see him and Donna back again, but at the same time, I feel like it's going out of your way to satisfy the fans maybe a little bit too much, and it's leaning a little too hard into fan service. Because, like, it's cool to bring back Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield because they're their own Spider-Mans. But bringing them in to replace what's the name of the current? I forgot his name. Tom Holland. But bringing him in to replace Tom Holland as Spider-Man in the Marvel universe would be dumb, wouldn't it? It would be way too fun wonky. And I don't think Doctor Who needs that right now, to bring back an old actor to replace the current one. Especially in a time where we got our first female Doctor, and a lot of people like me weren't fans of the writing during this era. So the worst thing you can do, I feel like, at this point in time that screams of desperation, is bringing back an older actor who played the Doctor and having him replace the first female Doctor. Like, it's not only makes it feel like a step back because it goes again from a first female Doctor to an older popular male Doctor, the most popular, like I said, but it just screams, yeah, the show is in the toilet, we need Tenant to bring the ratings up, you know? I don't know. Like, on one side, I am happy that Tenant is back. Like, I love him. He was my first Doctor. Not my favorite Doctor, that would be Matt Smith, but he was my first Doctor, and I loved seeing him in Doctor Who back then. But, yeah, I don't know. I will ultimately have to wait and see to be able to properly judge whether it was a good idea or not. Right now, I'm just leaning towards it's a little too fan wonky. Even if it's just for like 3 episodes, it's a little bit too fan wonky. And in connection to something that I'm going to talk about again in Power of the Doctor review, it's really funny how similar the Chibnall era has ended up being to the first RTD era. Down to Tenant getting a bunch of specials where he can play the Doctor again after regenerating into himself. It's like, remember how in Journey's End he regenerates from Tenant into Tenant, and then he went on to a bunch of Christmas specials? Now what do we have? Jodie, who was very, very similar to Tenant in terms of character and performance, although not as good, regenerates into Tenant again, who is going to have a bunch of episodes, special episodes, because they don't have Doctor Who in during that year. Like, it's so goddamn similar. And I know, I feel like in previous videos where I've talked about Doctor Who, maybe some of the more older videos talking about it, I've mentioned this, but goddamn it, this Chibnall, can Chibnall come up with one original idea of his own that is good, that he's not stealing and reusing from the RTD era? Jesus Christ. And yeah, there were quite a few, once again, in Power of the Doctor that were brought back from previous eras of Doctor Who, particularly the RTD era, that I will talk about once I cover that, but yeah. I think that's kind of all I have to say in terms of the in-universe side of things for the show. I'm excited to see what the specials with Tenant are going to be like. I do kind of dig the vibe that we have over there. I wonder how similar it's going to be to the RTD1 era, but yeah, I'm getting a good vibe. It already looks better. I am wondering whether they're going to keep the aspect ratio that we have had for the Jodie era. Are they going to keep it for the new Tenant episodes, or are they going to go back to the 16:9 one? Because honestly, I at this point, I don't know if I would really care. The only thing that is annoying about that aspect ratio right now for me is only when I make thumbnails, because as you may have noticed, usually I do the thumbnails, especially for the Plummy Thoughts on videos, by taking a shot from the episode that was really, really cinematic and just writing the name of the show on it, you know? And it has been a little bit of a pain in my ass because due to the size of the shot, I've had to cut it down, and it's just been a little bit of a pain in my ass due to my inability to easily do that, you know, due to the softwares that I use for editing images, because I don't use Photoshop. But yeah, at first I definitely hated the aspect ratio, but at this point I don't really care. As long as the actual, like, cinematography is good, I think I'll be fine with it. The thing that annoyed me the Jodie era visually more, I guess, is the color correction. I feel like was a little weird, because remember how it looked in the RTD era, very early 2000s. Then when Moffat came in, it became so crisp and clear, and the colors were so vibrant in that. And then the Jodie era kind of made the colors really washed out for whatever reason, which I'm not really a big fan of. Definitely wasn't as satisfying to my eyes as the more vibrant colors of the Moffat era. But yeah, there's the other thing that is the elephant in the room that we kind of have to talk about. That is also the bigger reason why I redid this video. Because apparently now Disney's going to be involved in some manner in Doctor Who. And yeah, I'm also curious, are they going to keep Jodie's TARDIS interior for the specials? Or is Tenant gonna have a new one for those 3 episodes, or are they gonna straight up build a Shooty set, then have RTD use it, and then have Shooty claim it after him? Because I'm curious, really curious about that. I mean, the TARDIS interior is one of my favorite things about Doctor Who. I flipping love it. And so far, out of the modern Doctor Who TARDIS interiors, only Jodie's one has never really felt good. It's easily the worst one. Like, I dig the Eccleston and Tenant set because I honestly thought it made sense when I was a kid. When I first started watching Doctor Who, I thought it made a lot of sense. Would it be like a time machine? Like, I don't know, it just felt like it fit my expectations for what a time machine would be. It felt very kind of put together with scrap and stuff, and it was really cool. And back then, I actually also didn't realize, I don't know if I mentioned this before, but I didn't realize back then that the TARDIS wasn't just the room with the TARDIS console, but there were a bunch of other rooms. Somehow, I didn't realize that. It wasn't until I think I started watching like the Moffat era with Matt Smith that I actually realized, hey, there's actually more to this. But yeah, I'm curious to see what the set for the TARDIS is going to be, and visually on the outside how much they're going to change it, because we have the behind the scenes photos of the TARDIS, but I really can't tell whether they've changed it much or not. It does seem bluer than Jodie's kind of teals. What's the name of the color? I think it's teal. So yeah, it's funny though how I kind of predicted if that's gonna be the case. If it is darker blue again, because as some of you may have noticed with my thumbnails, for the Jodie era, at least since I started doing it with this really cool new font, basically since series 13. I started using a kind of greenish color for those thumbnails for the words Doctor Who, and for the videos talking about Doctor Who where I've covered more future stuff with like Ncuti Gatwa being revealed as the Doctor and Tenant pictures on set. I've used a darker blue based on I think the coat of David Tennant. I think that's kind of where I came up with it. So if they actually go with like a darker TARDIS, which is the color that I was basing the color for the title on the thumbnail, that would be hell of a prediction. And we also have the reveal of the new logo, which I again almost forgot to talk about. Um, I'm honestly not too big of a fan of that new logo. It's a little bit too retro for my taste. It's like a lot of the Chibnall era. It's a little bit too derivative of previous stuff and not really original enough. But there's still the possibility that it's just gonna be for the 3 specials, although the fact that they've used it as the profile pic for the Doctor Who YouTube channel probably means that it is going to be the actual logo. But yeah, I feel like it's just a little bit too much of a classic Who thing. Like, the one thing that I didn't mind about the Chibnall era is that it tried to be different. It tried to be new, at least for the first season. Like, that was not the issue with that first season. It's just that it was shit and it was boring. Not that it tried to do different stuff. So, even though the logo, again, wasn't my favorite thing for that era, at least it was different. But this one just feels like a modernized version of the classic Who logo, you know? But yeah, now we need to get into the elephant in the room. That being the recent news that apparently Disney is going to be involved in some way, shape or form in Doctor Who. I say in some shape, way or form, because right now it's not clear whether this deal that they have made is just for broadcasting Doctor Who on Disney Plus everywhere except Ireland and the UK. Which is still annoying enough for me because I do not want to support Disney in any way, shape or form. But there's a possibility that they would actually be creatively involved with the show. Maybe not majorly so, and maybe it's still going to be ultimately up to the BBC and RTD to allow whatever Disney is pushing for. But I don't like how close Disney is getting to Doctor Who. I do not want that fucking mouse to own any more IPs than they already do. Like, Jesus Christ, Disney makes so much money already. So many IPs, so many media they own. Can we keep one thing not... Can one thing not be given to them, please? And there's also a little bit of a worry that the show is gonna lose its British twang, because that's one of the things that I loved about it. That's one of the things that made me love it, and that's one of the things that made me want to learn to speak English all these years, because I loved Doctor Who, and thanks to Doctor Who I learned English. Thanks to The Walking Dead as well, but Doctor Who was the first show which I didn't watch dubbed, because there wasn't a dub version back then. I don't think there is one today anyway, to my native language anyways. So I was forced to watch it with subtitles, which trained me in English. So yeah, I don't want it to lose its British twang, but again, I'm worried, and I don't like that this worry has been shoved into my head once again, because I thought that now that the Chibnall era was over, it was all gonna be fine and everything was gonna be great, and there was not gonna be stress on my mind about the possibility of Doctor Who fucking itself up once again. But apparently we can't even go 5 minutes without having to worry about the continual existence of Doctor Who. Still, I think it's probably gonna be fine, but yeah, I don't know. If there's more news or explanation to that, I'll probably do a additional video, or maybe I'll just attach something to this one if it is released before I post this video. But yeah, I think that's all I've had to cover about this. Overall, I am pretty interested still to see where Doctor Who is going to go, but I still think that I need to be won over once again by Doctor Who, and I'm not gonna like it just because it's Doctor Who and just because it's David Tennant. I do not feel like my relationship with Doctor Who is the same it was for the first 10 seasons of the modern era. I very much feel like that relationship is broken, and it's right now up to RTD to rebuild it once again. Will he manage to? I don't know. I don't know if I ever truly will enjoy Doctor Who as much as I did for those 10 seasons. Not because it's not gonna be as good, but again, just because I've been betrayed in this way by the Chibnall era, that I don't know if I give a shit about Doctor Who. That's something that I've said in previous reviews as well, and it still holds strong. I don't know if I give a shit about Doctor Who anymore. To the point to get invested anyway. I'll probably still watch it if it's good, but it's still gonna take a little bit until I become a hardcore fan like I used to. But yeah, I don't know. What did you guys think about the teaser for the 60th anniversary and the news surrounding Doctor Who in general? Comment your thoughts down below and let's have a discussion about it. And also, before we end this video, I just want to give a huge shout out to my currently 8 patrons on Patreon. Omar Bridgman, Deadpool, August Dice, Little Uzi, Corby Dead, Shirunyan, Etsap123, and Weed God 6969. I also want to thank Omar Bridgman once again for also supporting me on Ko-fi. You're the first person to do so. Thank you very much for the double support, I guess. It really, truly means a lot to me. But yeah, thank you guys for the support. I really appreciate it. It really means a lot to me that you have decided to support me and have continued to support me for such a long time. Hope you continue to enjoy my content and continue to support me going forward. Thank you very much. Another thing that I also want to tell you guys before we end this video is something about me that some of you may or may not know, that will also explain why do I look and dress the way that I do. That being the fact that I am trans. In particular, I am somewhere between a non-binary person and a trans woman. I'm not quite sure at the moment and probably won't be sure until I talk to a professional who deals with trans people, but that is where the reason why I'm telling you all this comes. I need your help. Due to the fact that I live in a homophobic and transphobic Eastern European country with a family that won't really accept the fact that I'm trans if they found out, there is not really a feasible or easy way for me to transition here with minimal repercussions. So that's why I would really appreciate any kind or any amount of support that you guys can give me with this. That said, I don't want to guilt trip you or anything, so if you don't want to or you don't have the means to help out, that's fine, don't feel bad. I just want you to know that it would be greatly appreciated if you did help me out get out of this situation. If you have any questions, feel free to ask, and thank you for hearing me out. Hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did, please leave a like, subscribe. Also, check out the links in the description to my Wattpad where I post my stories, because in addition to doing all these videos on my channel, I'm also a writer. And if you ever enjoy my stories or simply enjoy my videos, you can head over to my Patreon or to my Ko-fi account where you can pledge support and help get the channel going, help support me so I can keep writing the stories you enjoy. But if you don't want to do it, that's completely fine. You can still help me out in other ways like liking this video, subscribing to the channel, and especially sharing this video with somebody who you think might enjoy it. And I think it's pretty much it for this video, so hopefully I'm gonna see you in the next one. Bye!